Hi, everyone. Harry here to talk about Hunter Biden's unsuccessful attempt to have his case dismissed on the same grounds that Donald Trump successfully had his case in Mar-a-Lago dismissed by Judge Eileen Cannon. Let's quickly review the bidding on Hunter Biden. He, in the depths of crack cocaine addiction, didn't pay taxes for a couple years, later paid it back with interest. At one point, acquired a gun, said on the form that he wasn't a drug user, had the gun for less than a week, threw it away. Those were his crimes. And the package of them, the lawyer handling the case, David Weiss, more about him in a minute, decided should be handled as follows. A misdemeanor guilty plea to not paying the taxes, and a diversion agreement for the gun stuff, meaning that he just would keep his nose clean for a year and there would be that charge would go away. The whole thing exploded in the wake of bitter Republican protests, and David Weiss took that, what had been that proposal, and instead threw the book at Hunter Biden. So he's already tried him for felonies in the lying about the guns by saying he wasn't using drugs. The jury agreed with Weiss, but that's a charge that is basically never brought by the department for someone who lies on the form or arguably lies on the form, but doesn't then use the illegally acquired gun to do another crime or whatever. So that was already very aggressive, I would say, overly aggressive prosecutorial action, more than the department would normally do. But those two little misdemeanor counts, they've now been morphed into 9 felony counts that he is due, as Biden, to go to trial on next month in California. And his lawyer, complained bitterly that they switched up on him, and they're doing this for, it's tinged with politics and it's all nasty. I think all of which is basically true, but none of which, as I said at the time, really supplies a reason under law to dismiss the indictment. So, it strikes me that Hunter Biden is really a very unlucky victim of political and other forces much bigger than him. Okay, but now let's go back to the guy who's prosecuting him, David Weiss. David Weiss was the U.S. attorney under Trump in Delaware. When Garland came in, they kept him there because he was already investigating Hunter Biden. And then after, he was still just the U.S. attorney investigating Hunter Biden. And then after the whole blow up, and as part of it, he asked for, kind of insisted on, special counsel status, same as, say, Jack Smith, which would give him a little bit more latitude to bring certain cases out of the District of Delaware. Otherwise, he would have had to say pretty please and put them under the aegis of the local U.S. attorney. Instead, he could just bring them as special counsel. So he applied for and got that designation. And that, in turn, set up the latest Hunter Biden argument that was rejected yesterday by the judge, and we're now on track for 3 weeks from now a hearing on these 9 felony counts of tax crimes. And what was that claim? The claim is, this is the one that Eileen Cannon actually agreed with. The special counsel here, David Weiss, who's become a special counsel, was not appointed consistent with law. And what that means, her opinion, Eileen Cannon's had a whole sort of flavor and highfalutin quality of Constitution and separation of powers. But it is not an argument, as was already made famously in the Morrison versus Olson case, that the whole special counsel regime is unconstitutional. Rather, it's an argument that and that, of course, was independent counsels outside of the department, not under the control of the Attorney General. This is that the special counsel, who is appointed by the Attorney General and is subject to the control of the Attorney General, nevertheless wasn't appointed within the constitutional words of by law, the constitutional provision that says that the president can appoint certain people like cabinet and then others whose appointment is provided for by law. And the argument that Eileen Cannon accepted is the statutes that give Merrick Garland authority to appoint, in that case Jack Smith, don't really do it if you read them carefully. That argument and opinion, as I said at the time, as everybody said at the time, is ludicrous. I mean, really, you hardly want to analyze it as law. It's just, among other things, goes against 50 years of opinions up to and including the U.S. Supreme Court, which is why the Eileen Cannon opinion is on appeal in the 11th Circuit, which I expect will be reversing. But that didn't deter Eileen Cannon from torturing the law to uphold it in the case of Donald Trump, but it did. The Hunter Biden judge had little trouble saying, no, there's no argument here that special counsel David Weiss was not appointed by law. He was appointed by law, so it's a legitimate prosecution, and we'll see you in court September 9th for trial on these 9 felony counts. So Hunter Biden's very unlucky saga, I would say, continues. I expressed a lot of reservation about their bringing the much bigger case and throwing the federal book at him in the first place. And then now, Trump gets the break that Trump doesn't deserve. Biden doesn't deserve it, and he doesn't get it. But, he's now what would have been a set of penalties for the drugs and tax that would have been small and let him get on with his life for first. And second, very consistent with how the DOJ normally deals with these things. Instead, he's looking at jail time and, conviction on many counts. So we'll see how that goes. But the judge properly, quickly, without breaking a sweat, says no, that legal claim that Eileen Cannon recognized, that doesn't fly. Sorry about that. See you in court. Talk to you later. Thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed this video and other Talking Feds content, please take a second to like and subscribe. Talk to you later.